Yo, people, what's going on? It's Egal Talks Football. We're back again with another video. I got my boy Dan in the building. Dan, how you doing, man?
I'm really good, man. Yeah, I'm good. I know the fans at the moment are a little bit shaky and concerned and worried, but we'll get into it. I'm all good, brother. Thank you for having
There
me.
you go. You know what? Before we get into all of that and before we get into the intro and everything else, I just want to say don't forget to check out today's title sponsor, guys, OK Jersey. The link will be in the description. And of course, you guys can use the link right now that's actually in the comment section. It should be pinned. So please do check it out. You can get 8% off your football shirts. And of course, upcoming World Cup, you can get whatever shirt you want for whatever country you want. So make sure you guys check it out. But yeah, before we go any further, Dan, where should we begin, man? Should we begin with the 3-point gap? Hopefully it turns into a 6-point gap today. What you saying? I feel like Man City playing first has applied a little.
Oh, is that you or me? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Did you hear what I said?
I said, all you said was, I feel like, and then you frozen.
So I feel like Man City playing first, winning, put a little bit of pressure on Arsenal.
Yeah, of course it did. 100%. And I think there's pressure in football. Anyone expected this title race to be 15, 20, 25 people ahead? Ain't going to be that way, man. We're never going to win this league by 20 points. It was always going to be tight. And there's always going to be pressure, man. There's always going to be pressure.
Dan? You there?
You there? Can you not hear me?
No, now I can hear you. All right, perfect. So what do you think about Man City winning first?
I don't know if it's you or me, but yeah, man. Look, okay. Man City winning first has put pressure on us. Of course it has, man. I mean, look, this title's not going to be easy. A lot of people felt that we were going to win it by 20 points. We're never going to win it by 20 points. It was going to be close, and it's going to be close, and I do believe it's still going to be close, go right down to the wire. But Manchester City playing first, there's pressure. But you know what? We can respond by putting pressure on them by going 9 points clear if we win our next two Premier League games, which is Brentford away and Wolves away. Now, I know we've got Wigan in between that. We've got Tottenham after that. But let's just be real. We have to do our job and not worry about what Man City do. And I appreciate that we might have some injuries and there might be some concerns. And I understand that the fans are getting a little bit worried and there's question marks about our mentality and whether we can handle the pressure or if we're going to bottle it this season. But really and truly, we have to take each game as it comes and we have to make sure that we do all we can to go out and win that football match. And those that are saying that Manchester City are going to come do what they always do, I don't think they should this season because I think that it is a team that is so much better than Manchester City in terms of squad depth. I think that we've got the squad that we need. I think that Manchester City are definitely not the Manchester City of the title winners, of treble winners and Centurions, but they're a good side, right? That's why they're 6 points behind us and they haven't actually been that great. So we have to be realistic with that and show them some respect and say that they're a good side. But I don't think we should be giving them too much respect because this is still a side that can be beaten. This is still a side that can drop points. And I think they will drop points. My problem is, Egal, we will drop points too. So we just have to make sure that we go into that Etihad game being a minimum of 6 points clear, not let them catch us between now and then. And I think Arsenal will be okay. So we take each game as it comes, not look too far ahead and just focus on the challenge at hand. And at the moment, it's Brentford tonight. And I do think that there is a lot of noise just purely because of people's frustrations, fear, and PTSD because it's Manchester City. If this was Liverpool, or maybe if it was a crazy team, let's say Chelsea or Man United, I do feel like they'd be a little bit less panicky because Manchester City are the team that have dunked on us for the last few years. And now because we're coming up with them again, a lot of people are talking about it happening again. And this time, it can't happen, man. We've got to just ignore it, do our job, and go win this league, man.
Then the pressure and the scrutiny is understandable. The team at the top has always gotten pressure. The team at the top has always gotten a level of scrutiny, and they always move the goalposts. I've seen Liverpool. Bro, Liverpool were so clear in the COVID year. But when they won the trophy, they said, oh, it was the COVID trophy. Bro, they didn't lose a game. They didn't drop points until like 27 games in.
Agreed.
So I've seen other teams get criticism, and I get it comes with the territory. So we'll take it from rivals. Just Arsenal fans, let's get behind the team, please. Like, as a fan base, we should get behind the team. This is the best it's been in damn near decades. I've not seen it this good for us. We've never been this close in a long time when it comes to like being this.
What do you mean by get behind the team? What do you? Because I hear a lot of fans say this. Oh, just stop moaning and get behind the team.
I don't see. Let me give you a perfect example. Man City, Big Steve and Man City fans they get behind the team, even if they're behind. They believe that the team can kick on and go on and win. Replace us with Man City right now. The whole fan base is deflated. They want Arteta sacked. Every day we're having conversation about Arteta getting sacked.
Okay, so let me tell you the difference then. Let me tell you why that might be. Now, no,
Okay,
I'm not saying that.
Forget about Arteta. Slot comes in, first season. They don't know if he can do it or not, but they go on a little bit of a run. They're like, you know what? They keep going. They keep going. They go on to eventually win it. Arsenal, if we're in that position, the whole time we're asking ourselves, can we sustain it? Because Liverpool, at times, they were just getting by. Sometimes
Okay, let me tell you what the difference is then.
Winning teams just get by sometimes, by any means necessary.
So I'm not saying that the fans you're questioning are right or wrong. I'm giving you an understanding from my point of view anyway, why I think the fans are like that. The reason Liverpool fans got a little bit shaky but had belief is because this Jurgen Klopp Liverpool won stuff, and they believed that if Arne Slot come, they weren't sure what they were going to get, but right now it's looking pretty good. They were clearly the best team of a bad bunch last season, and they deserved to go and win it. Manchester City have been 6 points, 7 points, 9 points, 10 points, 8 points behind teams, and they've gone and won the league. So that's why the fans aren't worried about it. Arsenal's perspective is we can chase, and we're not very good at chasing because we haven't got across the line, and we can lead, and we've fallen behind and not been able to get across the line. So therefore, the fans are saying the reason Liverpool and City fans can be so okay and chill with it is because they know that their team have been in this position before and they've got across the line. The reason that Arsenal fans are more shaky and nervous is because they've been in this position and haven't got across the line. So I think that's why people are a lot more fearful, a lot more, oh, please don't do this again, Arsenal, I beg you. Whereas Liverpool and City are like, that's cool. We've done this before. We've got across the line. We'll do it again. And that's why I keep saying to you, when we do this, I'll be relaxed. But until we do this, I'll always have that back in my mind thinking, I think we're going to win the league, but he's got to get across the line this year, because if I don't see it this year, when will he ever bloody do it? And that's why I think some of the fans are a bit more questionable than Liverpool and City fans.
I just don't think it's healthy, because you see some of the reactions from the fan base whenever we drop points. I feel like it's too dramatic to one way. When we win, we're told calm down, calm down, calm down. But then whenever we drop points, it's the end of the world. And I just feel like there needs to be a middle ground. We can't sit there and say we've won the league after every win, and we can't sit there and say everything's done and everything's dusted, because there is going to be a point where we drop points again. There is going to be a point where Man City drop points. But Dan, I do agree with you. It is accumulation of many years of not winning and just wanting to see the team do it.
It is for us to be mature enough to believe that this is different this season. And I think that's where fans aren't always getting it right, in my opinion. So look, there's a lot of fans that don't believe, and there's a lot of fans that have said to me, do you believe? And I've said, I'm normally on your side of the fence. The reason I think it's different this season is because I think this is a different Arsenal. If you would have put the Arsenal from 22 against this Manchester City, I'd be really nervous, because I don't really want Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe and Lokonga and Tavares and Fabio Vieira coming on. But now that we've got a squad that I think can compete, and in fact is probably the best, well, quite clearly is the best in the league, I'm a little bit more calmer than I would have been. And that's where I think fans are getting it a bit wrong, in my opinion. Now, fans can absolutely doubt Mikel Arteta if they want to. It's within their right. I'm not telling them how to support their football club. I'm not saying that they can't doubt this team. But I think what you need to do is look at what was different then, and even in 23-24, and what's different now. There's two differences. This Arsenal is not the same squad from those two seasons, and also this Manchester City is not the same City from those two seasons. Those Manchester City sides were unbelievable, mate. Treble winning. Yeah, they mean unbelievable things. They went 18 games, 18 wins in a row. We went 17 wins in a row. We didn't win the league. So that's how good they were back then. I don't think Manchester City win all 13 games. I don't think Arsenal do either, but Arsenal don't need to win all 13 games, right? Manchester City really do, if I'm honest. If they want to go win the league, I think Manchester City needs to be pretty much flawless for the rest of the season, because I think Arsenal will probably lose a couple of games, and that will be enough for them, but they have to be flawless for the rest of it. So I look at it differently this season. I don't think some fans do. I think they think this is the same old Arsenal, same old Arteta. We'll get 6 points clear. We'll throw it away. We'll finish trophyless, and they'll have to go at the end of the season. And I'm not looking at it like that yet. I'm not.
No, me neither. I'm not looking at it that way either. There is a lot of conversations about the squad. I think the squad this year is so strong. we should win it just based on that alone. Forget about the manager for a second. You look at the two teams. I just feel like Arsenal's team is superior to Man City's as an overall squad. You look at how deep we are in many different positions. Do you think Man City can match what we have? If Erling Haaland is injured, or if they have a couple more injuries across the team, would they be able to handle as much as we have been?
Yeah, I think, look, there's a lot of people talking about if Rice gets injured, what happens. But there's also a lot of people not talking about if Haaland was to get injured, or if Rodri was to get injured again, or perhaps they lose somebody like Ryan Cherky or one of their attacking players for a long period of time. I think it works for both sides. I stand by it. I think Arsenal got the best squad in the league. I don't think there's any excuses not to win this league. And I don't think the Manchester City side is as strong as Arsenal's first 11. Now, a lot of the people think Man City have got a better first 11. I would argue that, because I think they might have 2 or 3 players that are complete world class on their day, but I don't think their 11 is levels ahead of Arsenal's. I really don't. I think they've probably got the better attack, and we've got by far the best defense. And I'd argue that our midfield is as strong as well. So I think when you look at our attacking midfielder and maybe our centre forward, we don't have a Haaland, we don't have a Foden, we might not have a Cherky, but we do have players that can come in and do some of those attacking roles, and we do have players that can score goals. Where I think we outweigh them is defensively. We don't play a right midfielder at right back in Nunez and a left midfield youngster in O'Reilly at left back. We've actually got 8, 9 players that can all play defensively across the back line. We've also got Rice and Zubimendi, who I think complement each other, and I think they're still trying to find the balance of their midfield with some injuries to Rodri and Reinders, who's not settled in quite like they hoped. Foden, hot and cold. Cherky doesn't seem to be favoured by Pep Guardiola all the time. I think their wingers have let them down. I think our wingers have been okay. I think Trossard and Martinelli have been very good. I think Saka and Madueke have had struggles this season. But for them, Doku struggled, Savio struggled. I think Savio's still got 1 goal in 2 or 3 years. Doku's got about 3 or 4 goals in 3 years. I think as well, you've got the likes of Marmoush, who seems to be very good, but not favoured by Pep Guardiola for some reason. They've got rid of Oscar Bob now, but they have brought in Semenyo and Guehi, who I think would have been excellent signings for Arsenal, and definitely our first teamers now for Manchester City. And I think Semenyo's got 5 goals already in about 6 or 7 games. And obviously, Mark Guehi's been their player of the match for the last 3 games he's played.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
So he's been insane. So I think he's strengthened them defensively. Semenyo's brought in goals from the wide areas, which I think they lacked, and they are stronger now. But I still don't think that Man City will be flawless between now and the end of the season. I think they will drop points.
All right. People in the chat, do me a favor, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Dan's channel name is also in the description, so check out the 12th man. Bro, a lot of people say Arsenal is boring. Do you honestly think Arsenal is boring? Be honest. When you watch Arsenal games, do you think it's boring, or do you think it's just the way that the teams that we're facing, the opponents that we're facing? Because I do think, we spoke about on your show earlier, I don't think Arsenal is as boring as people make out. I think Arsenal is not boring, and I think it's the opponents that we face are the reason why we're boring. If people think the game's boring, is because the game state is so cautious from our opponent that it does not dictate it, and it does not allow any sense of back and forth. It's mostly just Arsenal recycling the ball, facing a low block, recycling the ball, facing a low block again, getting the ball kicked out, recycling it again. And it's just, I feel like that's the state of the game because of our opponent, and it says less about Arsenal being boring, but our opponents being scared to attack us.
I don't think Arsenal are boring. I think Arsenal can be boring when it warrants it. And what I mean by that is I've seen some excellent games from Arsenal this season. I've been very, very impressed with us going forward at certain times of the game. I think against Sunderland at the weekend, I was very impressed with our attack going forward. Leeds away, excellent game. We've played Aston Villa at home, where I thought we were good attacking. We played Spurs at home, which I thought we were good attacking. We've played Champions League games home and away, where I've been very impressed with us going forward. There has been games, however, where we've been a little bit boring to watch. I haven't been impressed with us, and I was bored when I was watching us at home to Liverpool and away at Forest when we're drawing 0-0. I was quite bored with those games. I have been quite bored where we've nicked it 1-0 or 2-1, but I don't mind if we're winning. And this is what I keep saying to people, Egal. If Arsenal are boring and we've won the league, you don't turn your trophy over and it says, you were boring, but you won it. You won it. You lift it up. Yeah? So I don't care if we have to be boring in a few games to win this league. I don't care if we have to win ugly. But as long as we win. If we are playing more boring in a game and we lose it or draw it, I'll be pissed off. If we're playing boring and we're winning 1-0, 2-1, well, hey, I grew up on George Graham, and that's what we did the whole time, bruv. Yeah. So I think when people say Arsenal are boring, they don't deserve it, they're the worst Premier League champions, they've gone too far there. We weren't saying that with Jose Mourinho or Antonio.
If Arsenal are the worst Premier League champions, be careful, Liverpool fans. That means you're the worst defending champions, because
they already are. They already are the worst defending champions. Them and Leicester are the worst defending champions, without a doubt. And Leicester have got an excuse because they're Leicester, right? So you can say Arsenal are boring if you want. You can say Arsenal aren't the best at winning, don't deserve to win it. You can say Arsenal are not the most, are not going to go down as the Centurions or the Invincibles. Arsenal are the most entertaining. The reason they're saying it is because they're bitter because their team hasn't won it. And I can tell you that because our fans were doing it to Liverpool last season. They haven't really been that great. They've just been the best of a bad bunch. All that crap was coming out for Liverpool. Same for us. When you look at the points tally, Arsenal can get 95 points if they win all their games. So it means that Arsenal are in a good position, and Arsenal do deserve to be there, and Arsenal will have deserved to win the league if we win this season. Do you think I really care what Paul Scholes thinks? Like, if he's sitting there in a podcast talking about how we don't deserve this, don't deserve that. I saw him in a team in 2013 that was a shambles of a team that Sir Alex Ferguson got across the line because they nicked our striker in Van Persie. That was a pretty boring side. That was a team that probably didn't deserve and won't go down in history as a Centurions or an Invincibles or a treble winners or whatever it be. But he wasn't moaning that he didn't deserve it there. I don't care what Paul Scholes thinks. He's never liked Arsenal because he used to come up against us. We used to ruin his weekends at times, right? When he was growing up. So he's never going to like what Arsenal do. So I don't really care, as long as we're winning, what people think of us. If people hate us, great, we're doing something right. If people laugh at us and like us, that means we're shit and we're doing something wrong. We're down in 8th and 5th again. So at the moment, people hate us because we're winning, man.
Hey, I'm just going to say, I don't know if you've seen the whole Thomas Partey news that dropped 2 hours ago.
No, go on. I just saw Goldbridge put something about it. I haven't seen it. Go on.
Bro, man's been charged with 2 new counts.
Jeez.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just happy we don't have him at the club, so we don't have to deal with this circus anymore. And and he's also dropped off dramatically as a football player, so I don't want nothing to do with him in the first place.
Yeah, look, I don't want to get too into it because it's obviously politics, and I don't like to. Well, it's not politics. I don't know what to call it, but it's definitely not separate from football.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is an extremely sensitive topic. That's the word for it. I don't like to mix the two. All I will say is I really, really pray that Arsenal didn't know what has come out now. That's all I'll say, because it is going to be horrifically bad if that is the case. And people at the club should be ashamed. If there's anything they've done where they were aware of stuff, covering up stuff, I think it's out of order. I'm not saying they have. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I pray to God that no one is involved in that and they kept it to footballing stuff and they let the criminal justice side of things go and do their job without getting involved or doing anything, because it does not look or sound good. And Arsenal, if they have done that, I'm sorry, I'd always love and support this club, but I won't always support the people within it if that's what's happened. That's for sure.
Hey, apparently they did offer him a new deal. So in that case, they must have done some due diligence to think it wasn't that serious. I don't know. I'm not going to protect the club on this one. If they knew, they knew. If they didn't. Long story short, we don't know what they know. But one thing we do know is they have a big research team, and they don't just give players a new contract without knowing all the facts.
No, absolutely. Well, look, they say innocent till proven guilty, and we'll have to see. He's been charged. He'll go to court, and they'll decide what happens now. But if the club knew anything, and then they're in serious trouble, in my opinion. But I don't know that to be the case. That's all I'll say on the matter. We don't know anything yet. We have got no idea, mate. So,
all right. Let's talk about EZE, because this is before we get into the injuries. With the possible injuries ahead, EZE has a big opportunity now to take a chance and kick on. EZE has a big opportunity to kick on. And guys, do me a favor, please do hit the likes on the video, guys. We got about 66 of you guys in the building right now. So there's 2 parts to this interview that EZE had, and I just wanted to highlight them. I think they might be important. So the first one here, on his time at Arsenal, he says really good, loads of things learning, improving, playing with big players, playing in a squad with so much depth, new challenges, and something that I needed for my career for sure. But then here's where he goes into a little bit more detail, and he speaks about how bringing some difficult something different with other players, basically talking about how it is in the back room with everything, and having to deal with basically not being a starter week in, week out, and having to find a way to create something and sync together with the team and work with them. And of course, he speaks about individual skill sets importance, but the most important thing is like merging and connecting and building as a team and not being as an individual. Because let's be honest, at Palace, he was basically the whole team, right? He was basically like one of the main guys at Palace. And then there's the last bit where he was, yeah, attacking wise especially. And then the last thing is, he said the biggest challenge since joining Arsenal is probably the level of information around the games. There's a lot more detail goes into how we approach games and prepare for games. It has been a lot more than what I'm used to. It seems like at Palace he used to just show up and do his job, where here there's a lot more research, more learning, and just more everything, and understanding the opponent.
Yeah, look, I think the difference that he's seen so far is that he's now playing for an Arsenal team that's competing on all four fronts, that has a game every few days, and that at the moment is so much more important that we win games. At Palace, you can get away because you're not expected. The expectation is different. You're not expected to go to the Etihad and win. You're not expected to come to the Emirates and win. But Arsenal are expected to win every game. That's what happens at a big club. And I think what Mikel Arteta has done is he's brought tactically something different than what he's used to at Crystal Palace. And he's probably gone a little bit more micromanaged in certain games. And I think that's definitely going to take time for him to adjust. I keep saying this about Egal. I never saw him as an Alexis Sanchez or a Mesut Ozil signing. Some people did. I didn't. I never thought he was going to be that guy that takes us across the line. If we win the league, it won't be because of Eberechi. It will be because of Eberechi and the 24-man squad that we've got. So for me, when I look now and people say, I can't believe Eze's not been this guy that plays every game, scores every goal for us, and is our best player and star man, I'm very confused because he was never going to be that. He was always going to be a squad player that contributed, that scored and assisted, that came on when Ødegaard was injured or suspended or was just out of form, and that came in and started games and come off from the bench and set up goals and scored goals. And I think that's basically what he's been. Now, I haven't been blown away by him. I haven't thought he'd been outstanding, but I kind of...
Don't you think he can be a match winner on a regular basis?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he has given us goals in moments. I think he has been a match winner against Palace. And I think he has been an assister against City for Martinelli's goal. And I think he has come in and won us games and has set up goals to help us win games. But I don't think he's been that, oh my God, this signing is the one that we'll remember now for the next 5-10 years because it's taken us to the next level. This was just a very, very good signing. It was an expensive signing. I never think he's worth 68 million. I think he's probably worth about 50. But you have to overpay if you want these players, particularly the English lads. And I think that he's come in and I think he'll do well. Look, Eze's not going to be a star because he's sixth choice attacking midfielder for England, right? If he was brilliant, he'd be ahead of those players. He's not Foden, Bellingham, Palmer. He's not Morgan Rogers. He is a very, very good attacking midfielder that can create and can help us in low blocks. And I think that's kind of what he's done. So I think those that are saying he's been not what I expected.
Did you say Morgan Rogers is a level above? We're going to talk about him in a bit.
Yes, I do. I'll come back to him when we talk about him, but I do think he's a level above, and I'll explain why. But I look at the scenario quickly of Eze. I spoke to Palace fans from my channel. Are you gutted? They said, yeah, we like Ebbs. We think he's a quality player, but he won't be a star for you, and he will turn up in games and he'll disappear for 5 or 6, and you'll question what's he good at, and then you'll come back and go, boom, there's a goal. I thought, they're just being bitter. He's quality. They were right. And they said he can't play left wing, which everyone knew, and I think everyone's found out quite quickly that he can't.
I think he can, though. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I think the times he's played there has been poor. I don't think Arteta liked him there because he dropped him for a while after he fucked up against Matt Gash, and then he played left back and he didn't fall back, and then they scored, and he's like, right, don't play him there, and he's never played there since. So I think Arteta's made up quite quickly his mind up that he can't play left wing, but he can play in the middle centrally. I like the way that he sprays the ball forward. I think he slows it down like Ødegaard does sometimes. He's quite casual on the ball when he does slow it down. But I also think he's quite quick with his passing. And I think that he can free flow pass. And I think some of the best football I saw us play this season was when Eze played. It was Marino up front, mind you. But Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur, Eze was brilliant. Hat-trick against Spurs. That hat-trick against Spurs, I didn't expect him to do that every week like some people did. I thought that was a man. He's never scored a hat-trick, has he? Do you know what I mean? So he's a player that I think will have a real chance now, Egal, that Havertz and Ødegaard aren't quite in the mix. I think Eze's got a great chance now to push on.
Yeah, 100%, specifically with this game too. Talking about Havertz, we've seen the news on Havertz. Havertz going to be out for at least 4 games. That's really gutting because he's been good since he's come back from injury. He's looked really good. He's starting to build a partnership with Gyökeres, him playing in the 10, Gyökeres playing in the 9, and they have that connection where it's like he just knows where to get him the ball. Hopefully Eze can see what Havertz has been doing, Ødegaard can see what Havertz has been doing, and maybe try to find Gyökeres in a similar situation. But Havertz missing or injury, Havertz getting injured again. He's kind of getting a little injury prone, but it's also a big blow with him just coming back looking so good. You don't want a player getting injured when they're on form like he was. I thought the last 4 games has been amazing for him. Maybe not Leeds, but overall he's been good.
Havertz has definitely improved Arsenal in the last few weeks, whether you are a big fan of him or not. And Kai Havertz coming into midfield is not something I wanted to see until I realised that it wasn't the 8 role, it was the attacking 10. And I really liked him in it. Now, when he was playing for us in midfield last season and the season before, he was playing attacking 8 and I hated it. I really didn't like him there. I thought he was way too deep. I thought he was definitely excluded from what he's good attributes-wise and what he does link-up play going forward. And he played him alongside Gyökeres against Kairat, and I thought, we look pretty good. Then it was okay against Leeds. Obviously, he came on against Sunderland, set him up, scored a goal. He got taken off, and then Gyökeres comes on and gets 2 goals with him being setting up one of them. I've been very impressed with Kai Havertz in the 10. I like him in the 9 as well, I've got to be honest, as a squad player. And I think that's what he is at Arsenal, someone who can come on and contribute, which is what he's proven this season. It'll be a blow because he's one of the only players at the moment that in that role is thriving. So he'll be a big blow for the next month if we're going to miss him for that many games. I have a big concern over our injuries, Egal, those 2 individuals, because Saka and Havertz.
4 games, not 4 weeks. 4 games. He's going to be out. He's going to be out for this game versus Brentford. He's going to be out for the game versus. We're playing Wigan, right? And then we play after that. We play Wolves and then Tottenham. So he should either be back for after the Tottenham game, or he should be close to ready to go for the actual Tottenham
Chelsea,
game.
I reckon. He'll be back for Chelsea, I reckon.
Yeah, look, he also wants to score against Chelsea.
Yeah, he likes to dunk on them, man. He likes to dunk on them. But I do have concerns over the 2 injuries, Havertz and Saka, because I just don't feel like we've looked after either of them enough, and I feel like the damage might be done. But I've mentioned that comment before. That's just, I hope I'm put in the mud by that, and Saka gets 30 goals next season and Havertz gets 30 next season as well. But I just don't
By the way, we're going to talk about Trossard, Saka, and Ødegaard in a second. They're actually all going to potentially be back in the team today, as Hand of Arsenal said.
Do you think they'll start?
Hand of Arsenal said they were all included in the squad. I'm not saying they're going to start. They might be in the matchday squad, all 3 of them. Yeah. Could be in the matchday squad. That is crucial. But another thing I want to say, I don't know if you watch other sports, but there's in basketball they have like the playoffs, right? Where that's when you start to go on your journey to actually win the NBA championship. Or for example here would be Champions League knockout rounds. That's when teams really lock in and they're like, this is the business end of the Champions League and the league. We need to really focus. Well, maybe Arsenal's just saving up the best players to try to not risk any injuries now by getting them out whenever there's any small knocks. So later on in the season, they're a little bit fresher. Because how many times have we seen Arsenal players peak around January, February over the last couple of years when we've been competing, and then gas out at the end or start getting injuries late in the season? Gabriel getting injured, Havertz getting injured, Saliba getting injured. I think Arteta and the boys have done a really good job. The management team have done a really good job this season trying to make sure everyone gets a little knock, they're taken out right away. Where before I felt like guys would play through injury consistently on a regular basis.
Yeah, look, I think this season we've proven that we've got a hell of a lot better and we've learned over the last couple. But I think the biggest reason for that is that he trusts his squad now, Egal. He trusts the squad. He trusts players. There's only really been Norgard, Lewis Skelly, and maybe Ethan, and maybe Max that I've looked at that potentially could have got more minutes this season at times. Everyone else, I think, has deserved to be in and around that side. And I think he's rotated well so far. You can't say he hasn't, because we're top of the league, we're top of the Champions League, we're still in the FA Cup, and we've got to a final of a Carabao Cup. You don't do that if you don't rotate well, and that's what we've done. So he has learned, he has done well, and I think he's given the minutes deservedly to the players. I think he could have potentially rested a couple of players more. If I'm being nitpicky or if I'm being panicky, I think.
Do you think he's done a good job this season managing players' game time?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think you would only say that there's potential for Declan Rice and Timber that have played quite a lot of football, but I think some of that has not been able to be helped. I think there's been certain games where Ødegaard could have been used more. Yeah, but that's probably about it, really. If I'm being, I mean, Lewis Skelly, I know people talk about him, and I'd like to see him in midfield. He's not been good at left back. He just hasn't been. He's just out of form.
Could he play midfield versus Wigan?
I think he needs to play in midfield against Wigan. And if I'm honest with you, I think he might need to play in midfield a couple of times during games. I don't mean start ahead of Rice. I mean be an option now that Marino and Havertz and some of these guys are out, that potentially he comes in and gives Rice that 20-minute break in a game if we're 2-0 up. That's what I would be doing with Mark Lewis Skelly.
I look over at Man City, and I've seen them before have guys like Kevin De Bruyne come back in the title race end of the season and just go off. So I personally, I expect that from Bukayo Saka. I expect that from Trossard. Can we expect that from Ødegaard?
Let me talk about Ødegaard very quickly, because a lot of people think I've been particularly harsh on him over the last couple of years. The reason I think I've sometimes harsh on him is because I've flip-flopped on him myself so much. I wasn't a massive fan of the signing when we signed him. I thought he was okay. A lot of people said it was outstanding business, and looking back, it was quite good business. But I didn't look at it at the time and think, wow, this is an unbelievable signing. I was looking at other players in his position that were scoring more goals than him, like Bruno Fernandes and like James Maddison at the time, and I'm thinking maybe they would be better options. But I look right now and I think, yeah, you put me in the mud, bro. You literally put 15 goals in plus other goals in competitions, and you absolutely made us tick. And I thought, got this one wrong. He's an unbelievable player for Arsenal. I'm very, very happy we've got Martin Ødegaard. And unfortunately, that was 18 months ago. And I'm looking now thinking, what is it that's wrong with him? Because he isn't still breastfeeding with a baby. He isn't still injured. He isn't still sick. He isn't a vegan, so he can't now kick a ball.
I think I have an answer. I think his role has changed because of Zubimendi and Rice's skill sets. The team is no longer asking him to be a connector; it's asking him to be a finisher, and he's not a finisher.
So I think what happens there. Let me come in on that, because that was my next point. But before you come in, I think we might have outgrown him now, and I think it might be time for him to go in the summer. And it might be time for somebody who we're going to mention in a bit, Morgan Rogers, to come in. Because for me, I think
Morgan Rogers comes in, he's not playing in the 10.
Well, look, we'll talk about that in a minute. But for me, whoever it is you want to bring in then, we need to find someone that's better than Martin Ødegaard. Because for me, Martin Ødegaard has really dropped off. And I personally do think there is so much that I've seen in his game of late that has made me think, wow, you've slowed it down. You're not scoring. You're not assisting. You're not driving us forward. You're not taking us across the line with the armband on. I think it might be time for us to outgrow. Just like we have Jesus and Zinchenko. They were good for a point. We needed to get rid of them if we wanted to win the league. I think we now need to get rid of Martin Ødegaard in the summer and give Declan Rice the captaincy, and we go in and find a proper creator. That's what I would do.
We can talk about giving the captaincy and everything after he leaves. But right now, Martin Ødegaard, coming back from injury, we need to see at least a couple runs of games where he's performing, or else it's going to be a situation where he's going to have to sit on the bench until he has to start for some reason. Like maybe he's fit enough to start versus Wigan. I need to see something, because what I seen versus Kairat, what I seen in the last games where he was starting before Kairat, I don't really remember any good performances. He came off the bench versus Leeds, looked good, but that's Leeds and we're already winning. I need more from Ødegaard. I completely understand why everyone's criticism of Martin Ødegaard lately. We do need more, and we definitely need to see better performances. Can't really criticize Trossard. Trossard's been outstanding all season. Let's get into this game. What are we saying for the lineup for this game? With the team news that we have, I'm not changing the lineup too much. Are you?
Raya in goal, Timber right back, Saliba and Gabriel. I'd start Calafiori, albeit I thought he had a pretty nasty game against Sunderland, but I think he's brushing off the cobwebs and getting his minutes.
I would start Hincapié.
So yeah, a lot of people would. That's fine. I'll be actually okay with
that. Because then in the next game, you can play Hincapié and Mascara for the 90. You're right. Maybe we do Calafiori and then Hincapie and Mascara start in the centre back positions.
That's what I'm thinking. Midfield, Rice, Zubimendi, and Eze. On the right, Martinelli. On the left, Trossard, and through the middle, Gyökeres. That's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be playing Madueke.
Eze?
Eze would be in the middle.
Madueke is going to start. You know that, right?
I know. I'd play Martinelli, but it will be Madueke, and then up top, Gyökeres, not Jesus.
I understand Madueke's not been Saka, but it's not like he's sitting there and he's been bad. For example, you just said in the Leeds game, that's much better from you, Madueke. That's what I want to see. And then it's like, what did you see in the last game? He didn't really do much, I know, but it's not like we can really.
Who's done more in the last few games for you, Norgard or Zubimendi?
Zubimendi, of course.
Right. Okay. So why are you not playing? Why are you playing Madueke ahead of Martinelli?
What? Okay, I get where you're coming from.
My point is, Norgard wouldn't start because he's not as good as Zubimendi. So why would Madueke start ahead of Martinelli? Because Martinelli's been better.
Martinelli has been better. If you want to start Martinelli, fine. But I also do think there's an element of Martinelli coming off the bench against tired legs and performing better against tired legs coming off the bench.
Yeah, look, Martinelli's very good off the bench, and Trossard has been an impact sub as well. Madueke, I think, would probably be good off the bench as well because he is good at one-on-ones. My problem with Madueke is I see no goals and no assists, and that's my problem.
Wait, he got a goal and assist for his Leeds.
Yeah, but that's his first goal and one goal, one assist he's got in the Premier League. Like he scored against Spurs, didn't he, in the Premier League, and he set up against Leeds. He's been very, very good going forward, but he just has zero output.
The way I'm viewing it is he is the like-for-like replacement for Saka in the team based on how we want that.
Oh yeah, he'll play him. He will play him. I'm just saying Martinelli deserves to play more.
Martinelli will play, and Martinelli will definitely play a lot on the weekend. So will Nani. So who would you start? What would be your starting lineup? If Saka's fit, I'm not starting him.
If Saka's fit, it'll be Saka, Gyökeres, and Trossard. Yeah,
I'm not starting Saka even if he's fit. I feel like it's touch and go if you're starting him this game. Maybe you.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about this game. I thought you meant if everyone's fit. Sorry, no, this game I'm playing Martinelli, Trossard, and Gyökeres. That's what I'm doing as the front three.
Martinelli, Trossard, and Gyökeres. Interesting.
That's what I'm doing. Martinelli, because Martinelli's ended that on the right hand side. So,
would you, if Trossard is not 100% ready to go? One thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see a Martinelli and Nani on the same pitch with Gyökeres. I just don't think it's good against a low block having these two guys. At least you have to have one of Trossard or Saka on the pitch with one of them. It doesn't make sense.
I think Trossard will play because Trossard had cramp, so it wasn't like he had like ligament damage or something.
No, I'm just speaking specifically about if we're going up against a Premier League team. What I seen against Forest, I think we would see a replication of that if we go with Nani and Martinelli. You always need at least one of Trossard or Saka to kind of be on the other end, doing more than just being on the touchline. Because Saka and Trossard.
Noni Madueke is the one out of form. So if you want to start the one out of form, fine. Bring the one on form on. Do that, but win the game. If you're going to start him, win the game.
If you're going to play Trossard, you're going to play Martinelli and Trossard on the right.
No, Trossard will be left. Martinelli will be right, which is what we've been doing to end games in the last few. It's been Martinelli right, Trossard left, and it's looked good. I don't think Madueke deserves to be playing. He will play. So we're having a conversation. We all know Arteta will play Madueke.
He's played pretty much every game since Saka's been injured. Yeah. So maybe he does get rested this game.
And he's not good,
and the logic being that he's going to start versus Wigan.
Yeah. Madueke, look, that's fine. But
so if this is the team, what's the team versus Wigan? Raya?
It will be Kepa in goal.
Ben White.
White.
Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll put Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield. Keep Calafiori for one more game. And then put Hincapie, put Christian Mosquera. That's the midfield. And then the midfield, you go Norgard, Miles Lewis-Skelly. And then in the 10, who's available?
I'd probably play Ødegaard.
And then since Since Saka's coming back to full fitness, you start him and play 45 minutes. And then you put Nani on the other. You put Nani on the other wing, or what do you do? No, you just start. You just start Nani and you play Martinelli. What do you say?
That's what I'd do, and then up top, Jesus.
So that's the team. That team's good enough to beat Wigan.
Yeah, that'd be my team.
And then when we go back to full strength on next week, we then go back to the full strength team once again. And you play EZE and you play Gyökeres, and then Saka hopefully should be back by then. The question I have is, will Ødegaard take back his spot?
Yes. I wouldn't, but he will.
What makes you say that? Because he did play Havertz ahead of him in the Leeds game. What makes you think he's just going to take him out? I think he needs to perform before he gets his spot back.
He did, but I think that he will see him as the captain and the one that he wants to go with. So I think Ødegaard will get back into this side. And I think he dropped him just to sort of say, naughty boy. And I think he'll be all right now. So I think he'll play him again. Well, as long as he's fit, that is.
All right.
That's what I think. But
before we go into anything else, what is your prediction for the game? I'm going 2-0 Arsenal victory. I think we're going to come out of there. We're going to score the first goal, and then we shut up shop after we score the second.
1-0 Arsenal. Don't care how. Keep a clean sheet. Get the job done. 3 points. We move. That's what I'm going for.
Bing, bang, boom. We're out of there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Get 3 points and go.
All right. Transfer news time. I don't know about what you've seen, but I've seen some crazy rumors. First one, Scott McTominay from Napoli, former Manchester United midfielder, has been linked to Arsenal as a potential box-crashing midfielder /8. What are you saying about Scott McTominay? And if I can show you the article, I'll show you the article. Just let me just get it up. I surely could not believe. Sorry, I could not believe that this was actually a thing. I know FK is probably loving it, but where is it? 1 second. So many things going on right now. Where is it? Everything on my Twitter is just about a certain former player. You know what? You just tell me. What do you think about Scott McTominay?
I'll tell you what I think of Scott McTominay. I actually think he's a very underrated and underappreciated player. I think he's come in and been a squad player at Manchester United. They started him a lot and they didn't like him, but I always thought he wasn't the problem. He's come in at Napoli and he's done stuff. He's scored goals, he's won stuff, and he's won individual awards. I think he'd be a fine squad player for Arsenal. He's not going to take us to the next level. But
squad player, bro, they won 100 million.
Sorry?
They won 100 million euros, 80 million pounds.
We're not getting him then.
Yeah, that's the
he's not nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. If he's coming in at Arsenal, he's a squad player. He's not getting ahead of Rice or Zubimendi. Like for me, like somebody like Buwadi or somebody coming in, Tielemans or someone like that would make sense. But when you're looking at someone coming in to start, nah. Like that's why Tonali never made sense for me, because I don't think we're getting Tonali. He wants to come in and start. But anyone coming into the midfield ain't starting for Arsenal unless they're Pedri or Vitinha. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. You don't think Tonali starts for Arsenal?
I don't think he does in the Arteta system, no. I think Rice and Zubimendi both complement each other. I don't think Tonali would start, unless you play a different system.
Could he take Norgaard's spot and we'd have more rotation? Or
yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think he'd want that. I don't think Tonali would want... Do you think Tonali gets ahead of Zubimendi and Rice?
I don't think so.
That's what I mean. So I don't think that he will come in. That's why I think he'll go back to Italy and go to Milan or into Milan again or something, because I don't feel like there's a spot for him at Arsenal where he walks in every game. Be harsh on Zubimendi, be incredibly harsh ahead of Rice. So I don't think Tonali's going to happen, personally.
Okay,
some people would say he's better than Zubimendi. Maybe he is better than Zubimendi. Maybe he would walk in alongside it.
What do you think about the Julian Alvarez topic?
Alvarez,
have you been seeing the Julian Alvarez stuff?
Yeah, I'm breaking up. I think.
I've been seeing it.
Julian Alvarez. I think I don't know. I don't know the rumor. I know Berta really likes him. I think he's an excellent player, but no one wants him now because he hasn't scored for 10 games or something. something like
16.
that. Yeah. So now he's crap apparently, rubbish.
16 games, 0 open play goals. They're asking for 100 million. They're asking for Martinelli swap deals. They're asking for Jesus swap deals. Personally, for me, I don't think we should be getting rid of Martinelli if we're going to also get rid of Jesus and Trossard. We should keep Martinelli if we're going to get rid of all those guys. You don't want too much change. You want to keep some of those guys, right? If we're getting rid of Jesus to get Julian Alvarez, fair. That's an upgrade. If we're getting rid of both of them, that doesn't make sense.
No, I agree. I don't think that we should be looking. I think we should be looking at the attack. I think we should. I think we look at the attack, and I think we look at who's an upgrade. I think left wing is somewhere we might look. I don't know who. Yildiz is being mentioned. Obviously, up top, Julian Alvarez is being mentioned.
Yeah, you know, I don't know too much. I don't know too much about how Italian players translate to the Premier League, but we'll have to wait and see. How many Italian?
There's really only Igor Thiago who's playing and scoring in the Premier League at 24, Brazilian, who people will probably say they don't want. He's scoring and he'd be an option. Lautaro Martinez at Inter Milan. I know he's 28, Argentinian. A lot of people don't like him, say he's hit and miss. He's scoring this season. And obviously Julian Alvarez. That's kind of it, really.
I seen the Njai stuff. Bro, there's no way we're spending that kind of money on Njai. Did you see the report on Njai?
Nah, he's a good player, but how much do they want for him?
They want like swap deals for Martinelli and money. I'm like, are you guys crazy?
Well, it depends. I mean, I like him, but Martinelli has been excellent this season for us, I think. People aren't talking about Martinelli enough. I think he's been good. I think he's been one of our best attackers, if I'm honest.
Man United want him. Man United want this Njai guy. Everton want a swap deal. I don't think Arsenal's actually going to sign Njai, man. It just looks like one of those players we're all linked to. But the last person is Morgan Rogers. Do you think Morgan Rogers is better than what we currently have in our team in the 10?
Yeah, I do.
He doesn't play in the 10.
He plays a lot on the left. He plays a lot in both positions. I think he can play in both. Obviously, he's playing there for England at the moment. They reckon that Tuchel looking at him as the number 10. I really like Morgan Rogers, and I think he can do a job at both the left and up top for us, in the 10, for us. I got a lot of time for him.
As a Trossard replacement. I don't know about you.
Really? You think he'll play left wing, yeah?
Yeah. I don't think there's too much quality in that left wing position across Europe. And
he's got 13 goals and assists. That's unbelievable. 13 goals and assists in 26 games. That's incredible. 8 goals.
Where was he playing for most of those games where he's scoring? I feel like he's played more games on the left this season.
But I think he's played in both, but I think he's been mostly on the left-hand side. But again, I like him. I'd play him on the left if we bought him. It really depends where we feel he's best. Him and EZE in the team could play together. I think he'd be a phenomenal signing. It'd be a lot of money though. Be 80, 90 million, I reckon. But it'd be a brilliant signing.
I feel like the best games I watched of him, Man United, West Ham, Leeds, he was playing all over the place. Versus Leeds, where did he play? He played like up top in the front two. And then West Ham and Man United, he was playing on the left. I seen a game versus Tottenham. He was playing in the 10. He's played all over the place. But the main thing is Arteta.
I've lost you, Egal. Are you back?
60, 70 mil? How much are we saying?
You're back now. All I heard was 60, 70 mil. What are you saying?
How much money would you say he's worth?
Yeah, he's probably worth what EZE was worth, I imagine. Maybe even a bit more, because I think he's been, doing it at the top of the league as opposed to near the mid with Palace. So he's probably worth 75, 80 million, isn't he? And I think he'd be a phenomenal signing. I really do. I know Yildiz is spoken about, and I like him, but he's quite young, and I think he's quite sort of raw.
I worry about how players will translate to the Premier League. It does take some time sometimes.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes it does. But I do think we need I think the positions that we'll look at in the summer will be a midfielder, a left winger, and a striker. That's what I think we'll do. So anyone who plays in those positions, I think Arsenal will be looking at. Oh, you're on mute, bro.
We're going to wrap it up here. Zubimendi adapted Egal. Yeah, he did well. He jumped straight into the team and did very well. Sell Ødegaard, get Rodgers. British record for Rodgers. No chance. Declan Rice is a British record. There's no way he's going for more than Declan Rice.
No, I agree.
And I don't think we're paying 100 million for him. Let's be real. But
no.
Yeah. Anyways, did you see Ange Postecoglou? He bigged up Arsenal. He's like, brilliant. Arsenal, they need a player. They go and drop 100 million on Declan Rice. Tottenham, we're never going to do that. We're never going to do that.
I thought it was a quality interview. So funny, so true. And Tottenham
he could have said more about the Man City Arsenal.
He'd love to have said more.
He could have said more, because looking back, those Tottenham fans who are like, let's lose this game, let's not get Champions League football, let Arsenal win the league. They ended up winning the Europa League, but they're still in a pile of shit right now. They probably would have been better off winning, getting Champions League football, getting a Semenyo, getting a Gehi, getting one of those guys, because that's what he wanted when he was manager.
That's what he wanted. That's what he said he wanted. He wanted Pedro Neto, Semenyo, and Gehi, but they brought him Solanke and 3 teenagers, and I thought, that's so Tottenham. That's just so Tottenham.
Bro, isn't it a blessing that we don't have like a recycling door of managers? Like, I'm so happy we settled down on a manager.
I don't mind if we have a recycled managers if we've got 15 managers and 15 trophies. But if you've got 15 managers and like 0 trophies like Spurs, then it doesn't happen, man. It's awful. And same as Chelsea, to be honest, as well. They're another one.
Chelsea have had all those managers, but only a couple of them have won. Think about it. Sarri won a trophy. Maresca won a trophy. And Tuchel won a trophy. Nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, I'll wrap it up here, bro. You have a good one. Catch you on the next one. Shout out to everyone in the comment section. Big up to all the normal people in the building who just want to chill and just have a good time, talk about Arsenal. I feel like everyone's been calm today in the comments. Really do appreciate all the nice comments, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Dan, 12th man, guys, go check it out. He's going to be live at 3 o'clock, right?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Yeah.
4 o'clock. And we're out of here, people. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.